Pick, Click, Give, this is the fifth year the program has been around. It was created by the Alaska State Legislature in 2008. They passed a bill that became a law when the governor signed it that allows for a charitable contribution program through the Permanent Fund Dividend Program. So 2009 was the first year that Pick, Click, Give was in existence, and it's grown in popularity every year since. Basically, it allows Alaskans to make a charitable donation to the campuses of the University of Alaska, community foundations, or qualified charitable or educational organizations. Next year, there's going to be over 500 organizations on the list. And the goal of the program is simply to increase charitable giving among Alaskans and to help nonprofit organizations by connecting them with new donors and kind of increasing the potential for new donors for all of our nonprofits on the list. I'll cover the process. How the program works is that Alaskans can file for their PFDs starting January 1st through March 31st. And only Alaskans who file online are eligible to participate in Pick, Click, Give. So that's an important thing to remember if you're working with someone who only files on paper. Unfortunately, the program, due to the size of the list, and the desire to keep the costs of running the program from the state perspective at a minimum, it's only an option if they're filing online. So you definitely want to encourage people to consider filing online so they can Pick, Click, Give. At the end of the filing process, they have the option to opt in to donating a portion of their PFD, starting at just $25, to one or more of the 500 plus organizations on the list. So these donations will go on through the months of January, February, and March. What we know is that January is the most popular month for filing for PFDs. 60% of the people who file for PFDs do so in the month of January, and 40% of them actually do it in the first 2 weeks of January. Linda Wilson just asked if there's a maximum donation amount, and that's one of the things that's a little bit tricky about Pick, Click, Give. People are asked to make donations in January through March when we don't actually know what the final amount of the permanent fund dividend will be. So the state of Alaska actually sets a maximum. I believe last year it was $1,500. Obviously that was much more than the permanent fund dividend ended up being. They try to do it in something that will be close to the maximum amount, because I believe the first year the program was around, there may not have been a maximum, or the maximum was really high, which caused people who were wanting to pledge their whole dividend end up making a maximum pledge that was far over the amount of the dividend. So the state does try to keep that maximum donation amount close to what they project the permanent fund dividend will be. At the end of the filing period, in early April, the state will publish the numbers. So you'll be able to see how much was pledged to your organization, how many Alaskans made those pledges. But the filing period remains open in a way. They can't actually file past March 31st, but individuals can go back into their PFD application and they can add a new donation, they can change the amount they donated, or they can withdraw a donation through August 31st. And then at that point, the state closes the system so that they can move forward into calculating amounts and distributing permanent fund dividends. So got a couple of questions. Samantha asked what happens if someone pledges more than the amount of the PFD. That's one of the reasons that the payout amount for your organization might change. So in early April, you'll find out the pledge amount, and say for your organization it's $3,000. But when you get your check in October, it may be that the check is only for $2,700. That could be because a person overpledged. So they pledged the maximum amount that's allowed in the computer system, but then the dividend amount ended up being a little bit less. And Lynette asked if there's an option to pledge a percentage of the dividend instead of a dollar amount. And that comes up a lot. People ask about that. But the state did not choose to go that route. So the law that was written in order to enable this program specifically said amounts in $25 increments. So they chose not to go with a percentage amount. But that does come up in questions about the program. So in October, when Alaskans get their PFD checks, the state will also work to get the checks out to organizations. So your organization will receive a check for your Pick, Click, Give donations and a list of your donors in about mid-October. It usually occurs a couple of weeks after individual Alaskans get their PFD checks. So Pick, Click, Give is actually the statewide marketing campaign, and the partners that are involved in this are the Rasmussen Foundation, the Foraker Group, United Way of Anchorage, the Alaska Community Foundation, and the State of Alaska, the Department of Revenue Permanent Fund Dividend Division. And I'll just quickly describe the role that each of the partners plays so that you can have a sense of who's doing what. The Rasmussen Foundation contributes a lot to the statewide marketing campaign. The Foraker Group provides a lot of training for all of our nonprofits, such as these webinars. The United Way of Anchorage processes the applications that you file to be part of Pick, Click, Give, and they also process the payments that go out to you in October. The Alaska Community Foundation is where Pick, Click, Give, the program lives. That's where I work. And the State of Alaska does all of the administration of the program, from collecting the donations when people file, to reporting those amounts out to us, to eventually distributing the funds that go out to you in October. The Pick, Click, Give marketing campaign, which I hope by now you have seen our commercials and the website and everything that we do to promote this opportunity, is sponsored by a number of different philanthropic and corporate organizations who generously contribute funds, so that the marketing campaign so far has been provided at no cost to the nonprofits or to the State of Alaska. Just to give you an idea of how the program has succeeded in the past 5 years, we measure the success of the program in 2 ways. First is the money that is raised. As you can see, the program grew a lot in the first couple of 3 years as people were learning about Pick, Click, Give, and it gained in popularity. People learned that it was a safe, easy way to make a contribution, maybe to explore giving to a new cause or an organization that they hadn't engaged with before. Another way that we measure the success is through the participation. And so you can see in that first year, just over 5,000 Alaskans gave through Pick, Click, Give. Last year, more than 26,000 gave. And we also take a look at the percentage of the people who file for their permanent fund dividend, how many of them chose to donate through Pick, Click, Give, and that has grown every year, and we're nearly at 5%, but we'd like to see that number grow even more. And the involvement of individual organizations promoting Pick, Click, Give to their stakeholders is really the most important factor in seeing this program grow in the years to come. So for those of you who are new to the program or new to promoting Pick, Click, Give for your organization, this is a list of ideas that you can use in the next couple of months to get ready. But before we get into them, I'll just take a quick break to remind you all to mute your phones or your headsets. We had a few people join us in the last couple of minutes, and I think there's a couple of lines that aren't muted. So if you're using a headset, go up to the green microphone icon up at the top there of the screen and go ahead and click on it. That'll mute your headset. And if you're using your phone, please click the mute button. All right, so in the next month, this is a great time. This is the perfect time to start planning your Pick, Click, Give campaign. And these are just a few ideas. You'll find a lot more ideas on our website, pickclickgive.org, and through the trainings that are coming up. These webinars are really designed to give you ideas and tools that you can use to have a successful Pick, Click, Give promotion. But right now is the perfect time to start scheduling material for all of your communications. So if your organization has a newsletter, whether that's an electronic one or a print version, you want to have an article about Pick, Click, Give or a mention in there, probably in your December issue, your January issue, all the way through March, because people will start thinking about filing in December, and you want to be on their radar before they go file on January 1st. The same goes for social media. That's a free, easy way to promote your organization. So I would recommend sitting down for a few minutes, maybe brainstorming with your colleagues or board members about things that you can post on Facebook and Twitter, and don't just limit yourself to text. Think about pictures that you can share that show what your organization does and its value in the community. And then we've seen organizations have a lot of success by taking these pictures and really quickly using the Pick, Click, Give logo and putting it on the picture somewhere, and then sharing that on Facebook with a reminder that when you Pick, Click, Give, you know, you're giving people an image of what that accomplishes. Really quick, I'll answer a question that came in on chat. This was from Barb, and she's asking if the PowerPoint slides will be available. And yes, after every webinar, we will be emailing out the slides to all of you. So you can review them or share them with your colleagues, or if you end up missing one of the webinars, you'll have access to that. Another thing that we've found works really well for organizations is to team up. So in the Mat-Su Valley, for example, they formed a group called Pick, Click, Give Mat-Su, and it's a voluntary affiliation, and they collaborate together on advertising in the local newspaper. They talk about speaking opportunities at Rotary, at Chamber, and kind of share those responsibilities, and then they coordinate going, calling into the radio shows and going to public radio and talking about their organizations and Pick, Click, Give. So if you're in a smaller community, it might make sense to do a community collaboration. If you're in a larger community, you might look at your service area and see if it makes sense to collaborate that way. I know in Anchorage, some of the organizations that serve youth and education causes get together and do some co-promotion. So we're excited to see these collaborations, and I'm happy to help support those. If you want some ideas or examples of what other groups have done, I'm happy to share that. Just get in touch with me. Another thing that you could try to do this month would be to look into having a local business or a service group match your Pick, Click, Give gifts. We've seen this work on the very largest scale, where ExxonMobil has committed up to $100,000 to match donations to the university campuses and institutions of higher education. But we've also seen it work on a much smaller level, where one of the local nonprofits in Anchorage found, I think it was the Lions Club, that was willing to match up to $5,000 in Pick, Click, Give gifts. So take a look around your community and see if there's a business or a service group that might be willing to provide matching money for your gifts. That's a great way to get people inspired to give to your organization. And then In December, the statewide marketing campaign will begin in early December, so you'll start to see our ads on TV and online. You'll start to hear radio commercials, and we'll really be out there in full force promoting Pick, Click, Give as a whole. Um, there's a number of strategies on here that I won't read through, um, but it's a great time to start getting Pick, Click, Give visible on your website, in your emails, all of your communications on social media, and start engaging the staff, the board, and the volunteers of your organization to do some one-on-one asking of their friends and family. Many people are just waiting to be asked or given a reason to use Pick, Click, Give, and so asking them to donate $25 or $50 through Pick, Click, Give to your organization might be the thing that inspires them to do it. If you are going to place ads or run public service announcements, we suggest that you start running those in late December or early January. Again, the first 2 weeks of January are the highest volume of people filing, so you really want your strategies to kind of culminate or peak in those first 2 weeks. For the last couple of years, Beans Cafe of Anchorage has been the most successful organization in dollars raised, and they kindly shared their list of strategies. So this came to me in an email from their development director, and he said, please share this with anybody who wants it. So here it is in the PowerPoint. They sit around as an organization and come up with all of these ideas and share their responsibilities, and they don't spend a lot of money behind their promotions. Many of these things just involve human resources. So this list is available to you, and please feel free to use it for your own ideas. And Ken Miller is the development director at Beans Cafe, and he's always offered to talk with anybody who wants some advice. So let me know if you'd like to get in touch with Ken. I think it's one of the important things to note down at the bottom there is that they do set a goal of both donors and dollars raised, and I suggest you do the same for your organization. It really helps keep everyone motivated if you know what it is you're working toward. All right, Lisa's asking sticky labels. Okay, Lisa asked what is number 12 on this list, sticky labels of Beans Cafe and Pick, Click, Give for envelopes. What they do, Lisa, is they just run labels through a printer with a message about using Pick, Click, Give to donate to Beans Cafe. And then December through March, they make sure that anything that goes out of their office, paper product, has one of those labels on it. So all of their mailers or newsletters or anything going out of their office has a sticker on it that reminds people to Pick, Click, Give. I'm going to move along to the next slide, but do remember that I will email this out so you can refer to it again. One of the best tools that I think we provide to Alaskans and to organizations is our website, pickclickgive.org. If you haven't visited the website yet, I recommend you do that soon. The website's been designed so that any Alaskan can go in and research the organizations on our list. So you see on the left there, we've broken them down into service areas. So if someone doesn't know where they want to donate, but they know that they like to help animals, for example, they can click on that and see all of the organizations around the state that are doing work in that area. You'll notice over on the right, about midway down the screen, there's a section called Info for Nonprofits, and that's the part of the website that's really designed for all of you. We have an extensive FAQ section that I think can answer many of your questions about the nuts and bolts of the program. One of the best things I think we have online is the toolkit for nonprofits, and that is where you'll find items like this. We try to put everything that we have out there for you to use. So this graphic up in the left is what we recommend for an email signature in the months of December, January, February, and March. You can get everyone on your staff or board to go ahead and add that to their email signature. It's an easy way to promote Pick, Click, Give. But please feel free to take these graphics and use them. Linda Wilson is asking if we're allowed to alter the graphic, and the answer is yes. Please feel free to take license with our graphic and customize it, integrate your own logo, or be creative with it. We really want you to feel free to do that. So there's even more on the toolkit that I couldn't fit onto this one slide. We have a bunch of banner pictures that are really good for Facebook. And a lot of other tools, and we'll be refreshing that toolkit sometime towards the end of next month with logos and themes that will be related to the 2014 marketing campaign. So take some time to familiarize yourself with this section of the website, because I think it will be really helpful to making your emails and newsletters look good. And we also are pretty active on Facebook and Twitter. So if you haven't already, please like Pick, Click, Give on Facebook. We try to get information out to you as many ways as possible, and Facebook is one of those ways. So and we also like to see what you all are doing on Facebook and try to share and retweet and promote each other. Let's see. Suzanne's just reminding everyone that we're getting feedback from someone's phone. So one more time, just make sure your phone's on mute, please, or click the microphone icon up in the corner to mute your headset. All right, well, I wanted to leave plenty of time at the end of this for questions that I may not have anticipated. So now would be a great time if you want to put a question into the chat field or take yourself off mute and ask a question about Pick, Click, Give. Okay. Well, seeing no questions at this time, I want to remind you all about some of the webinars we have coming up. I think they're all going to be pretty interesting and exciting. We sent out a survey earlier this year to all of the Pick, Click, Give nonprofits from 2013, asking them what we could do to enhance our webinars and our training. And all of these topics came directly from nonprofits and hearing what it was you wanted to learn about. So I'm pretty excited about some of these. I think the next one coming up is going to be interesting. It's going to be about how to create a video for your website or for social media. And Travis Gilmore from Alaska Public Media will be able to walk you through what you need to do to create a good video. I'm seeing a question or two. I'll jump into answering those. Lisa, that's a really good question. Lisa Sadlerhart is asking, if a small nonprofit has only a limited amount of time, what do you suggest prioritizing in terms of working on? And I would say social media is very important because it's a free, easy way to reach a large audience. And then engaging your board, staff, volunteers in spreading the word one-on-one to their networks could be a really effective and not a huge time investment on your part. I think also putting Pick, Click, Give icons and logos into the communication plans that you already have shouldn't be too time consuming. You're already going to be sending out those emails or newsletters or communications. So adding a few lines about Pick, Click, Give shouldn't take too much time and reaches the audience that you already have. And so some of the other webinars, I'll just run through them really quick. Thursday, November 21st. I hope you'll all call in. I'm really excited about this one. This is where we're going to give you a sneak peek into the statewide marketing campaign for 2014. So we're always working at coming up with things that we think are going to inspire people to donate through this program to your organizations. And next year, the focus is really going to be on how do we engage Alaskans and make them feel like they want to be part of this program. And I think we've tapped into some really cool things. I'm very excited about the campaign, and I really hope you'll call into that webinar because we want you to have a head start on how to spread the word and use some of the new themes. The public relations webinar is going to be great because that is another low-cost way for your organization to get the word out there. So this would be what they call earned media. That's press releases and community events and ideas about how to get the media and your community to notice your organization and your involvement through Pick, Click, Give. And we'll have someone from MSI Communications here in Anchorage, who is a public relations expert online, to give you some ideas about that. And then in early December, we're going to have a webinar that just focuses on social media with a social media expert who's been part of the Pick, Click, Give campaign since the very beginning. And she'll have some great ideas that will help people who are new to social media as well as those of us who are already engaged with social media. I always appreciate getting some new ideas for Facebook and Twitter, so I hope you will be able to call into that. And then in January, we're going to have Lori Wolf from the Foraker Group, who's an expert on donor relations, talk to us about how do you get your board, staff, and volunteers engaged in talking about Pick, Click, Give and reaching out to their networks and getting them engaged with your organization through this program. So I think all of these will be helpful. We're working on a couple of more sessions, so keep a lookout for emails or updates on Facebook about sessions that we might add to this series. And then finally, I'll just say that I hope to always be available to you for any questions, especially those of you who are new to the program. Please don't be shy about sending me an email or picking up the phone and giving me a call. I'd love to talk to you about your plans and figure out what we can do from the statewide marketing campaign to support all of the work that you're doing for your organization and promoting Pick, Click, Give. So Linda Wilson just asked a question over chat about social media. She says that they don't have a lot of experience about it. And we do have a training. That's, Linda, the training on Monday, December 9th on social media. So I hope you can sign up for that webinar. If for some reason you're not available for that particular webinar, do remember that we will be emailing out the slide decks and hopefully the recordings of these sessions after each one so that you can access them again or review them in case you missed it. Okay, well, thanks so much, everyone, for calling in and being patient while we worked out that little issue with the feedback at the beginning of the program. And give me a call if there's anything I can do for you. My number is 907-249-6616.